As a business owner, the best 5 words that you can hear in your business is, I found you on Google. There's nothing more satisfying than knowing that somebody out there is searching for the services or products that you provide, and they go to Google and they find you and they reach out and they contact you. There's no better high than that. But if that's happened to you, you may have followed up with the person and said, oh, that's great, welcome. What did you search for? And then you see the kind of look on their face of like, I don't remember. And you're left going, oh, well, I'm really glad they found me, but I wish I could replicate that success. Maybe you've also gone to Google Analytics and said, I wonder if Google will tell me exactly what that person looked for. And unfortunately, you got one of those dreaded not provided results in your Google Analytics. Well, I'm here today to show you a tool that you can use that Google gives you for free to tell you not only the search term that people are looking for and clicking through to your website, but the most popular pages that you have on Google, and even the terms that people are looking for and not clicking on yours. So stick with me and I'll share that with you right after this. Hi, I'm Meg Casebolt from Love at First Search, where we help online entrepreneurs to show up in search results and take those new readers and turn them into leads, subscribers, and sales. But if you're showing up in Google search results, how do you know exactly what people are looking for? It can be a little bit confusing because you may think, oh, I'll get that information from Google Analytics, and then it's just not there. So today I'm going to introduce you to a tool called Google Search Console. I like to describe Google Search Console as the stepchild to Google Analytics. Google Analytics will tell you everything that happens once people get to your site, but Google Search Console will tell you how people found your site. So let's dig in. What I'm going to show you today is how to read the data that's in Google Search Console. I'm not actually going to include in this how to install Google Search Console. And the reason why is that it's slightly different for most websites based on what platform you're on or what hosting provider you have or where you bought your domain. So I'm going to include some resources below this. I'll have a blog post that includes all of that information for every type of site. But if I went through it platform by platform, it would be boring as hell. Google Search Console is a treasure trove of information that you can use to learn more about your website as a whole and any of the technical aspects that you're worried about on your website. So it will give you tons of information that used to fall under the Google Webmaster Tools console that includes information about how fast your page loads and if there are any issues with mobile friendliness, lots of those technical things that I've talked about before. But in this video, I'm specifically going to talk about the performance report. So if you go into your Google Search Console up on the upper left-hand corner, it's right there and says performance, and that will tell you these 4 things. 1, it will tell you how many people have clicked from Google to your website. So that's clicks. 2, impressions. That's when your website shows up somewhere in the top 100, 200 results that show up for a specific search term, and some searcher has clicked through to that page and seen your website show up in those results and may or may not have clicked on it. The 3rd metric you're going to see is your click-through rate. That's a number of people who clicked divided by the number of people who saw it. If you had 100 people who saw your website show up in their results, if you had 100 impressions, in other words, and you had 10 of those people actually click through to your website, then you have a 10% click-through rate. The click-through rate can be a really helpful metric when you're trying to figure out if there are any things that you're showing up for, but people just aren't clicking on it. And the 4th metric that you're going to see on this dashboard is your position. So if you've ever heard someone say, I'm number 1 on Google, it's shown here. This is the space where you know I'm number 1 on Google for this search term. I'm number 3 for this one. I'm number 8. I'm number 90. I'm number 62. I'm number 59. All of that will show up in position, and that's the position over time because your Google results can vary multiple times in a day. And so Google's always adjusting things and figuring out how people are clicking. So that's usually the position that your website showed up in for that particular search term over that 3-month period. So now that you know what you're going to see when you look at this, let's go take a look. So today we're going to be looking at the Google Search Console of my client Allison, who runs artbizsuccess.com. She's an art career coach, so she helps artists to sell their work. I thought that would be a little bit more interesting than learning all about SEO from me and seeing all my jargon in my Search Console. So once you get into your Google Search Console, the place where you can go is right here. Do you see how we have this performance report? You can come right here to search results and click Open Report. You can also come over here to performance and search results, and that should give you the same information. So you'll see when we get here that the search type is web. So if you have a particularly image heavy website, or you have lots of videos or news, you can actually just look at the search results in Google for that information. And our default setting is the last 3 months. So you can go back in time up to 16 months, or you can just look at 1 day, 1 week, something along those lines. But we'll stick with the default settings for this one. And so when I look at this, here's what I see. The first thing I see is that we're looking at the number of clicks that are coming to Allison's website every single day over this 3-month period. And because she works primarily with artists and other businesses, we see more people clicking on Monday through Friday and fewer people clicking on the weekends. We see a drop during the holidays because that's pretty typical. People aren't looking for business resources over the holidays. And you can also see how clicks and impressions are a little bit different. So if you just want to know who's actually clicking on your website, you can leave just this blue part clicked right here, the total number of clicks, and that will tell you only the people that have seen you and your website in their search results and clicked on it. And so you can see Allison, the first thing that shows up for is her name. That's pretty common. If you have an uncommon name like Allison does, that the first result that you're going to see is typically your name, and then probably your business is going to show up in the top 5 here too. And then if we wanted to take a look at Allison's impressions, you can come up here and click on it. It looks like it's not an interactive dashboard, but it is. So this part can feel a little confusing. If you click on any of these, it will add more information to this down here. So if we look at this and we see that Allison had about 26,000 clicks over that 3-month period, and she showed up in those search results about 800,000 times. And so when you come down here, you can look at every single query. She had over 1,000 different pages, or 1,000 different queries of things that her website showed up in search results for. So 392 people saw Allison's website show up when they looked for her name. 225 of those actually clicked on her website. And so we can see that for that particular keyword, her click-through rate is 57.4%. It's pretty typical to have a high click-through rate for your name or your business name or anything related to your brand, because those people already know who Allison is and what her business is. So those tend to have a much higher click-through rate than more educational posts or more questions that people ask. So that's all that this green number is. The CTR is click-through rate. That's your number of clicks divided by your number of impressions. And the same thing for her business name, Art Biz Success. Her website is artbizsuccess.com, and 193 people searched for that and saw her show up in results, and 145 clicked on it. So about 75% of the people who searched for Art Biz Success went to her website. We're almost never going to see 100% here because we have other places that we live around the internet. So maybe people went and looked for her name and then found her on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn instead of going to her website. So it's totally okay if you have a not 100% click-through rate for your branded search terms. The other thing that we'll see here is that we do have these kinds of informational questions that people are asking. So 1,000 different people over this 3-month period looked for exhibition proposal. It's a really great keyword for Allison because these are artists who would be looking for a term like exhibition proposal, and about 16% of them clicked through on her website, her blog post specifically about how to write a proposal for an exhibition. And same thing here. We see more people look for how to write an exhibition proposal example. Those are basically all the same keyword, right? These people who are searching for exhibition proposal, how to write an exhibition proposal example, they're all looking for the same thing. So when I've talked before about keyword clusters, about the idea that you can show up for different search terms for the same intention, that's what I'm talking about here. Is when people are looking for exhibition proposal, they may go into more detail or less detail in their search terms, but they can still find the same information. And her click-through rate for how to write an exhibition proposal is double just exhibition proposal. So either she's ranking better for that search term, or because she's more specific about what she offers there, that she's giving people a guide for how to write that exhibition proposal, more people are likely to click on it. So you may wonder, okay, but Meg, where did she show up in the search results? Is that part of it too? Yes, it is. And we have that information right here. This orange one right here is our average position. So again, this is our average position that you showed up in the search results for this query over this time period. So for exhibition proposal, Allison usually showed up in either the first or the second spot here. But for how to write an exhibition proposal, she's pretty locked into that first spot, which is probably why she has twice as many click-throughs by percentage. Twice as many people are clicking through on how to write. Whereas exhibition proposal example, she has a much lower click-through rate because she's showing up fourth. So whoever shows up in the first, second, or third spot is probably more likely to get that traffic, to get that click. Another thing that you may want to check out as you're looking at your Google Search Console is come right here. Instead of looking at queries, which will tell you every single search term that you're ranking for, click over here underneath the chart and click on pages. And what this will tell you is what are the pages on your website that are showing up really well for specific queries. So Allison has some really great blog posts here about how to introduce yourself as an artist, what to put on the wall labels in your gallery showings, how to write an exhibition proposal. We just looked at that one. How to name your art business, how to credit your art, how to write a handwritten thank you note. So these are all different blog posts that she's written based on questions that people have had, based on queries that she knows people are looking for. She's written this content to answer those questions that her artists are looking for. So let's come right here and let's look at this exhibition proposal, since we just used that as an example. I just showed you on the last screen just a couple hundred people who are clicking on that, who, 100 for exhibition proposal and another dozen for how to write an exhibition proposal or exhibition proposal example. But there's even more terms than just those three that I showed you. It adds up to about 2,500 people. So if you were to think, if you were to go do the keyword research and say, there just aren't enough people looking for that exhibition proposal, I don't want to write about it. Take notice of this, that just this one blog post, and I'm going to click on that blog post to get this information. Just this one blog post has 312 different keywords. So by clicking on that blog post, now it shows up in my filters. Now the only information that I see on my queries is just the information about that one page on Allison's website, just about exhibition proposals. And so now we can see every single one of those 300 different keywords that people are looking for, all about exhibition proposals, that they're going and clicking on Allison's work on this. So art exhibition proposal, art gallery proposal, writing an exhibition proposal, gallery proposal. Some of these don't even include the term exhibition or proposal, but she's still getting traffic for them. She's still having people who are looking for them and clicking on her. Museum, proposal sample, proposal for art exhibition. It's just variations on the same theme. It's different words or synonyms in different orders. Sometimes it's sample, sometimes it's template, sometimes it's example. But the idea is that people are looking for information about how to write one of these. And so if I were advising Allison about what to do with this information, I would say, okay, well, we're doing really well for how to write an exhibition proposal. But then when I see words like example, I see a lower click-through rate, I see a lower position. When I see sample, when I see template, we're getting lower positions on there. So I would advise her on that blog post to go in and include more information about, we're going to give you examples and samples and templates for how to write your own exhibition proposal, which would then help you climb within the position for these queries that have the word sample or example or template in them. You can just make adjustments to that existing blog post. You don't have to start from scratch on it. You can just change up and republish the blog post that you already have. And that would help you rank more for these terms to increase your position in these spaces and hopefully get more clicks by improving your click-through rate. So I hope now you're no longer wondering exactly which search terms people are looking for when they come to your website and say, I found you on Google. If you found a particularly interesting search term, I would love to hear about it in the comments below. If you like this video, I'd love if you could like and subscribe, and I'll be back next week with a video all about what to actually do with this information now that we have it. So I'll see you then.